Messy church is a concept, an idea that I've been aware of for a long time, and I suppose have maybe resisted it, seeing it as messy activities with children. And I think a turning point for me came when I realised that the messiness isn't just in the activities, which might be messy, but actually it's about the messy, fuzzy edges of how we define church nowadays. So it was coming to the rural context of Strontian, Ardgour and Morvern that I first used the label messy church. And there's a bit of me might wonder if there's a better name for it. However, it's a phenomenon that has become international, and the symbol, the messy church splodge, has become recognisable by children who can't read the words, and it's recognisable by visitors to the area who see, oh, that's something that will be similar to what happens in our home church, or whatever. So we have developed messy church, I suppose, in different ways around the three parishes here of Morvern, Strontian and Ardgour. We've tried a kind of monthly Saturday morning thing in different venues around the area, and found that in some of the situations there seemed to be a better response, and so we've been experimenting with other possibilities, and in one of the parishes looking at not a Saturday but doing something on a Friday afternoon and tying that in with some after school games and messy church activities, and then finishing with the meal.
I suppose it's because they can find the level that they're comfortable at. They can find the level that they would normally converse about anything or play at any level, and it's just using the spiritual meaning in that play context. So it's getting to the level that they are, whatever age, or even with the adults in some respect, feeling comfortable to sit, put headphones on and just listen to that quiet meditation while all the noise and everything else is going on in another corner. And it's about how everyone respects everybody else's little space, and children are taught that at school, so it's no different. They see that. And I think that's important.
I think there's a sense of wonder which is it's there in children. It seems to we grow out of it, but we need to reconnect with that sense of wonder. And I think messy church, in not being directive, it allows people to explore their own feelings and their own engagement with faith, with life, with God. I think in terms of the content of messy church, it is church, and we would want to incorporate all the elements of traditional church and its liturgy as it has been through 2,000 years, but doing it in a 21st century way. And so I would always want to see that there is something that is proclaiming the word, but that might be leaving a pile of Bibles lying around with some bookmarks, with some readings directing folk towards that, or something visual that allows people to engage with Scripture. There would be things that would be prayer, and it might be one particularly moving prayer activity in We Worship last Easter. We had those attending writing something or drawing a picture and nailing it to the cross. And yeah, there were concerns from some about hammers and nails and young children being around. We had no accidents. What we had was real engagement and a very powerful prayer activity. There would be things to, as well as all the different aspects of worship, I would always want to see that it was multi-sensory, and that there are things to see and things to taste and to feel, that we're engaging the whole of our being.
I think they get a sense of belonging. I think we've seen that belonging develop from where it first started, especially down in Morvern, when to begin with, it was quite structured and we had to lead quite a bit, whereas now they know exactly what it's about, and people come in, and there's children of various ages and adults, and now you see them looking for the part, you know, that's going to be right for them, and they'll go to those different tables. Some of the activities still need leading, because sometimes you still need to explain the message as to, you know, why it's all being done. But yes, I think they're getting the message in the way that they can understand it, the way that they can take it in and take it away with them, and I think that's actually quite important. And they can discuss with their friends. You often see that as well. I mean, Donald mentioned the moment of the Easter messy church with the cross. I mean, we'd all gone and we'd sat for lunch, and we just turned round and the children were just there on the floor, and they were writing and they were just hammering. A beautiful moment, wasn't it? They just understood, and people have been worried, is it too hard, this cross on a purple cloth, is it? And no, they had got it. They knew exactly where they were.
I think the conversations that happen because of the activities are perhaps more important than the activities themselves.
Yeah.
And anything that just triggers people to think about faith, about life, about the Jesus story is so important. I've been an ordained minister for 22 years now, and I've struggled with that concept of all age. But my family can go and do things, you know, if you go to the zoo, you know, the children interact with different things from the adults, and there's information display boards that aren't child-centred, and there's the play park that isn't adult-centred, but you can have a day out, and I think we need to rediscover something of that all-ageness in our worship. Everything that we do is always for everyone, but we need to make those special efforts to create the opportunities where folk can be themselves and engage in something with where they are at. I certainly always want to see it that way. I think it's very easy to see it as something for the children. I think there's a huge difference between things that are childish and things that are childlike, and I think Messy Church allows us all to reconnect with that childlike wonder in spirituality. Yeah, Messy Church has to be for everyone, and I think we've seen some of that in the parishes here. Maybe it's easier for folk to come along with children. I think they might admit that there's actually something in it for them as well. And I think we need to, I always like to see that there is something, you know, the quiet meditation to listen to, or the we've had things, you know, exploring some things on the internet about some of the saints or whatever, something for our minds, but something that's not for children to engage with, so that it is truly all age.
The conversations, the children were starting to have conversations about what is prayer, what is it okay to write, what is it okay to draw, and that was lovely that they had thought of that.
In 20 years of ministry in the Central Belt, I have explored things like this. It has been amazing to see the response within the rural context, where numbers can tend to be low, but I constantly remind myself that, you know, it's not just about numbers, and in terms of percentage of the population, in terms of real engagement, there's something very powerful going on here. Where
I feel fired up at Messy Church. I find it exciting. I find the children exciting, and that sense of wonder in them. Yeah.